And so the death, the sudden death of this student, Mullah Hussein, in no way stifled the growth of the Báb's message. And eventually, seeing that the government's efforts to suppress his followers had really been in vain, the Prime Minister of Iran finally, in an effort to completely extinguish what the Báb stood for, the Prime Minister issued a decree for the public execution of the Báb himself. And in the year 1850, at the tender age of 30 years old, the Báb was suspended by ropes before a firing squad and was put to death in public. And with the Báb gone from their midst, his followers were at a loss. These great waves of persecution continued across their country, wiping out the Báb's followers by the thousands, mowing them down. And all of the leading followers of the Báb, his most eminent champions, were put to death. Except for one, who was a young Persian nobleman, whose name was Baha'u'llah, which means the glory of God. And this nobleman, Baha'u'llah, because he came from a noble lineage, he was not killed, but he was arrested, and he was chained up and thrown into one of the most notorious prisons of the time, the Black Pit of Tehran. And this place wasn't really a prison at all. It was an old underground cistern. It was almost like an old sewer deep down beneath the city, where the worst of the worst criminals were sent to be put down there and be shut away from society. But down there in this really filthy, dark dungeon, where no ray of light could ever penetrate, and where he was surrounded by filth and vermin and chained by his neck to the floor, Baha'u'llah experienced in that black pit a vision. And he describes this vision in which he saw this dazzling light shining before him, and suspended in the air, in that light, he saw the image of a woman, a maid of heaven, whose beauty was to him a symbol of the beauty of God. And this woman, this maid of heaven, pointed to Baha'u'llah and called him to reveal to the world who he really was, that he was the one that the Báb had prepared the way for, him whom God would make manifest, the one who would give humanity the tools to build peace on earth. And she told him not to fear, that he was in safety, and that she would guide him and inspire him with a message that would bring about universal peace on earth and would unite the entire human race as one diverse but united family. And so the story of Baha'u'llah is a story for another night.